In the vast and unforgiving lands of prehistory, before kingdoms and cities, before writing and walls, there was one force that shaped all life: water. It was the silent ruler of the ancient world, deciding where life could flourish and where it would vanish into dust. For our ancestors, water was not just a necessity, it was destiny itself. In the endless plains and arid valleys of the Ice Age, finding water meant the difference between survival and extinction. And so began one of humanity's oldest and most desperate struggles: the struggle for water. The morning sun rises over a cracked landscape. The soil glimmers like dull metal beneath the weak light. A small band of early humans moves slowly through the wasteland, their bodies lean, their faces hardened by wind and time. They follow the tracks of animals that, like them, search for water. Every step is measured, every breath counts. Behind them, the world dries and withers. Ahead, somewhere beyond the horizon, there might still be a river that has not yet disappeared. For thousands of years, the planet's climate has been shifting. Glaciers expand, swallowing valleys and mountains, while other regions become wastelands of stone and dust. In some ages, rains come in abundance, turning plains into seas of grass. In others, drought reigns for generations. For the first humans, the earth was never constant. It was alive, unpredictable, and cruel. They learned to read its moods, the patterns of clouds, the flight of birds, the smell of wet air that promised rain. These signs were their only guide. Water meant more than thirst. Where there was water, there was life. Herds of bison and mammoths gathered along its banks. Birds nested in the reeds. Plants bloomed, providing fruits and roots. To find water was to find everything else. And yet, it was never simple. Rivers could vanish without warning. Springs could dry up after a single season. For every drop of water, there was competition from other animals, from other tribes, and from nature itself. At dusk, the group reaches what was once a stream. The ground is cracked and dry. The air smells of dust. One of the elders kneels and touches the soil, feeling for moisture. There is none. Silence falls. Children stare with hollow eyes. The oldest among them remembers when this place flowed with clear water, when fish darted beneath the surface, and the tribe gathered here to drink and laugh. Now it is a graveyard of stone. The leader stands, looking at the horizon. Tomorrow they will walk again. Nights are cold and dangerous. The stars burn sharp and clear in the black sky. Around the fire, the group gathers close, conserving warmth. The fire hisses as they melt a few drops of ice collected from shaded rocks, barely enough for a mouthful each. Someone hums a low song, a memory of rivers long gone. In this endless rhythm of thirst and migration, water becomes sacred, not a thing to possess, but to pray for. The first whispers of belief may have begun here, under these skies, when the absence of water became a mystery greater than life itself. When dawn returns, they march again. Their bare feet leave shallow prints in the sand. Days stretch endlessly. Some fall behind, too weak to continue. The strong carry the young. In this world, compassion and survival coexist in fragile balance. The tribe knows that if they stop, they die. If they move, they might still have a chance. And so, the struggle continues, not just for water, but for hope. After many days, the land begins to change. The air feels cooler. The color of the soil darkens. A distant scent, faint but real, drifts on the wind. Wet earth, the leader lifts his head, his nostrils flaring. The hunters spread out, searching. Birds appear overhead, circling. Their cries are a promise. Then, From the ridge, a shimmer of light, a mirage, perhaps, or salvation. They run, hearts pounding, and then they see it, a shallow river, cutting through stone, its surface flashing like glass in the sun. They collapse at its edge, laughing, crying, drinking with trembling hands. The water tastes of life itself. Here they rest. Here they live. The women gather reeds and roots. The hunters track the prints of animals that come to drink. Children splash and play. Around this river, a world awakens again. For weeks, perhaps months, this place becomes home. The group grows stronger, but nature is never still. Storms rise in the north. The river begins to shrink. One morning, the current slows to a crawl, and by the next moon, it is gone. Once more, they must move. In this endless pattern, find water, live, lose it, move. Early humans learn resilience. They begin to remember paths, to mark places with stones and symbols. The first maps are not drawn, but carried in the mind. A landmark, a tree split by lightning, a hill shaped like a tooth. These become memory points. The knowledge of where to find water is power. It is the birth of intelligence shaped by necessity. Sometimes they find other tribes already settled by a lake or spring. Not all encounters are peaceful. Words are few, gestures uncertain. A glare can mean warning or curiosity. A thrown spear can mean everything. Territory is life, and water is the heart of it. Battles are short, brutal, and forgotten by the next dawn. Victors drink, the fallen return to the dust. Yet, from these conflicts, a strange understanding grows. Some groups begin to share water sources, taking turns or joining together. Cooperation is born, not from kindness, but from need. Over time, these fragile alliances plant the seeds of something greater. Community. Around water, humans learn not just to fight, but to live together. The river becomes the first meeting place, the first marketplace, the first story shared between strangers. The seasons turn. Children who once crawled in the sand now walk beside their parents. They learn to dig shallow wells where the earth is soft. They learn to follow the animals that sense underground streams. With every generation, survival becomes knowledge. Slowly, the struggle transforms into adaptation. Humanity begins to shape its destiny, not just endure it. Far in the south, another group learns to store water in hollowed stones, covering them with leaves to slow evaporation. In the north, people carve channels to guide melting ice toward their camps. These small acts, unnoticed at the time, are the first steps toward mastery over nature. The struggle for water becomes the foundation of civilization. But the earth remains wild. Droughts return, breaking even the strongest. A dry wind sweeps across the plains, and the rivers vanish once more. Death comes quietly, not in battle, but in thirst. Mothers press cracked lips to the foreheads of their children. Elders close their eyes beneath the sun. In these moments, humanity learns humility. Water is life, but it is never theirs to command. One evening, after weeks of wandering, the tribe reaches a canyon carved by ancient floods. At its base, hidden in shadow, a pool still glistens. The surface reflects the stars. They drink in silence. Some believe the pool is sacred, a gift from the spirits of the earth. The leader kneels and places his hand in the water, feeling its cold strength. For the first time, he understands that water is more than survival. It connects everything: earth, sky, animal, and man. From this awareness, reverence is born. The first prayers rise not to gods of war or fire, but to the rivers that sustain life. Over the centuries, as tribes grow and spread, rivers become the arteries of early civilization. Settlements rise on their banks. Fishing begins. Trade emerges. The struggle for water never ends, but its form changes. Where once humans wandered endlessly, now they build and stay. Wells are dug, reservoirs formed. The knowledge passed down through generations becomes heritage. From thirst, wisdom is born. Even now, when we turn a faucet and water flows effortlessly, the echo of that ancient struggle remains. It is written in our instincts, our rituals, our respect for rain. Somewhere deep within us, the memory of those endless journeys across barren lands still lingers. The fear of drought, the relief of rain, the joy of a river found at dawn. We are the descendants of those who walked through thirst and survived. And so, the story of water is the story of life itself. It taught us endurance, cooperation, and foresight. It shaped our migrations, our myths, and our very nature. Every drop we drink connects us to the first humans who knelt beside ancient streams, gazing into their reflection and seeing the promise of survival. If you enjoyed this journey into the origins of humanity, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us keep exploring the untold stories of our ancestors and the lessons they still whisper through time.